You only have seconds. Have you ever walked away from a conversation thinking, "Why didn't I say that?" Maybe it was a job interview, a first date, a pitch you worked so hard on, only to freeze in the moment. It happens to everyone. The words vanish. Your brain goes blank. And by the time the perfect comeback arrives, the moment's long gone. But some people, they never seem to struggle. They speak clearly, under pressure. They win debates, command attention, and leave people saying, "Wow, how did they think of that so fast?" You might think they're just naturally gifted. But here's the truth. They're trained, and you can be too. Because thinking fast and talking smart isn't about being born a genius. It's about learning to use the tools of communication that most people never even realize exist. In this journey, we'll uncover the brain science behind fast, persuasive responses, techniques used by world leaders, FBI negotiators, and TED speakers, the hidden power of silence, eye contact, and verbal judo, how to sound confident even when you're unsure, and what to do when your mouth betrays your brain. By the end, you'll know how to think faster, talk smarter, and walk away from any conversation feeling like you won. And it all begins with one surprising truth. You don't rise to the occasion. You fall to your level of training. The hidden communication crisis. The biggest myth in communication is that we're good at it. We talk every day. We text, present, argue, pitch, joke, complain. But the truth? Most of us don't know what we're doing. According to a Harvard Business Review study, miscommunication costs U.S. businesses over $37 billion annually. That's just the economic side. The emotional cost. Relationships that fail because someone just didn't feel heard. Talented people passed over for promotions because they didn't speak up. Brilliant ideas left unshared because someone couldn't find the right words in the moment. Think about this. You could be the most qualified, most insightful, even most creative person in the room. But if you can't communicate it clearly, you might as well be invisible. So why does this happen? The brain in stress mode. When you're put on the spot, say in an argument or a surprise meeting, your brain activates its fight or flight response. Blood rushes away from your prefrontal cortex, the thinking center, and into your limbs. You stop thinking clearly. You start reacting instinctively. You either freeze or overcompensate by rambling, snapping, or shutting down. And yet, some people seem completely immune to this panic. They're poised, calm, quick-witted. What's their secret? Not IQ, not natural talent, but training. We assume great communicators were born with it. But here's what no one tells you. Barack Obama used to be a terrible public speaker. Steve Jobs rehearsed his presentations for weeks. Oprah studied communication styles with psychologists. This isn't magic. It's learned. And the first lesson is this. Fast, clear communication isn't about speed. It's about control. Control of your breath, your thoughts, and the space between one sentence and the next. Up next, let's break the myth of natural charisma and show you how anyone can train to talk smart under pressure. Born with it, or trained into it. He just has that thing. We've all said it. About a speaker, a leader, someone who commands a room like they were born for it. But what if we've misunderstood charisma all along? What if it's not a gift, but a skill set? The charisma illusion. Barack Obama's early speeches were stiff. Steve Jobs was once booed off a stage. Oprah was told she'd never make it on TV. Now think of the last time you saw them speak. Commanding, clear, captivating. What changed? They trained. They failed. They studied the art of communication like it was survival. Because it is. You can have brilliant ideas, said Lee Iacocca. But if you can't get them across, your ideas won't get you anywhere. The science behind the spark. Charisma, according to psychologists, isn't some mystical X factor. It's a blend of presence, being fully engaged in the moment, power, projecting confidence through voice and body, warmth, making people feel seen and safe. Each one can be learned. And together, they create what we call gravitas, the quality that makes people lean in when you speak. But the most fascinating part, even spontaneous brilliance, is often rehearsed. TED speakers, for example, memorize their stories, but practice making them sound unrehearsed. This is called planned spontaneity. It's not fake. It's fluent. Just like musicians rehearse scales to improvise freely, communicators rehearse frameworks, so their words flow when pressure hits. And the good news? You can learn those frameworks too. But before you talk smart, you need to think clearly. Coming up, the 5-second reset that helps elite communicators stay calm, centered, and fast, even in chaos. The 5-second reset. How to think clearly under pressure. The difference between panic and power is 5 seconds. You're in a high-stakes meeting. Someone just challenged your idea. Your heartbeat kicks up. Your brain scrambles. Your mouth goes dry. And all you can think is, say something. Say anything. But what if you didn't? What if, just before you answered, you paused? The cognitive pause. There's a secret used by elite communicators, negotiators, and even special ops soldiers. The 5-second reset. It's simple, but powerful. Pause. Breathe. Reframe. That short gap between stimulus and response, even just 5 seconds, can change everything. Neurologically, it lets your prefrontal cortex regain control over your limbic system, the emotional center that panics. Psychologically, it buys you time. Time to respond, not react. Time to think, not blurt. This is why some of the most powerful people in the world speak slowly. They're not struggling to find words. They're controlling the room, one pause at a time. The power of silence. In our rush to speak, we forget the greatest weapon in communication. Silence. When used intentionally, silence commands attention, builds anticipation, shows confidence, forces others to listen. In fact, a well-timed pause makes whatever comes next sound more powerful. He who speaks first loses, a common phrase in negotiation training. Now combine silence with breath, and you have something even more powerful. The reset ritual. Top speakers use it. Mediators use it. Even surgeons use it before a critical cut. The principle is the same. Slow down your body to speed up your mind. Try it yourself. Next time you feel your brain heating up, drop your shoulders. Take one deep breath. Count 1, 2, 3, silently. Then speak slowly and clearly. You'll feel the shift instantly. Because fast thinkers aren't rushing. They're ready. Coming up next, how to never run out of things to say, even when your mind goes blank. How to never run out of things to say. The conversational switchboard. Great communicators don't have better thoughts. They have better routes to follow. You've probably been there. Mid-conversation, someone asks you a deep question, challenges your opinion, or just goes quiet. And suddenly, you freeze. Your brain goes blank. You start grasping for words. And that creeping panic returns. I have nothing to say. But here's the truth. Your brain isn't empty. It's overloaded. In high-pressure moments, your mind isn't blank. It's jammed with too many inputs. What did they just say? What should I say next? How are they reacting? Am I boring? What's the point again? It's like trying to find one wire in a tangled mess of cables. And that's where the conversational switchboard comes in. The conversational switchboard, a mental hack. Imagine every conversation topic as a line, a wire you can follow. The key is knowing when to continue the line, go deeper, switch the line, change direction smoothly, loop the line, bring it back to a key point. Here's how it works. 1. Use bridges, not walls. Instead of ending your thought with silence, end it with an invitation. Example: I never used to think body language mattered, until I read this study that completely changed my mind. See what you did there? You opened a new line to follow. 2. The rule of 3. When making a point, list 3 elements, even if you only elaborate on one. Example: there are 3 things that make a conversation stick: story, surprise, and structure. That gives your brain options. If one thought stalls, move to the next. 3. Looping technique. If a conversation is drifting or dying, loop back to something earlier. You mentioned something earlier that really stuck with me. Boom, you've revived the energy and shown you were listening. When the room turns cold, let's say you get pushback. Someone disagrees, interrupts, or dominates the space. Do not fight it head-on. Instead, acknowledge their input. That's an interesting point. Reframe the conversation. I wonder if we're actually approaching the same problem from different sides. Redirect it with curiosity. Can I ask, what led you to that view? You've just taken control, without conflict. Thinking fast isn't about speed. It's about keeping the lines open. Coming next, how to command a room without raising your voice. Command the room without saying a word. The most persuasive person in the room isn't always the one speaking. You walk into a room. Everyone's seated, tense, focused, and before you even open your mouth, they've already made a judgment about you. Why? Because in the first 7 seconds, people form up to 11 impressions about your confidence, your intelligence, your warmth, your status, your trustworthiness. All before you say a word. Your body speaks first. According to Dr. Albert Mehrabian's research on communication, 7% of your message comes from words, 38% from tone, 55% from body language. Which means, you could have the best words in the world, but if your posture, gestures, and tone betray insecurity, they won't land. So how do the best speakers take silent control of a room? Power posing, the science of space. Amy Cuddy's research at Harvard revealed something surprising. Expanding your body, arms open, back straight, feet planted, increases testosterone and reduces cortisol. Contracting your body, hunched shoulders, crossed arms, does the opposite. So before you speak, even if it's just a Zoom call, try this. Stand up, hands on hips or behind your head. Breathe deeply for 2 minutes. You'll feel more powerful. And others will feel it too. Eye contact equals mind contact. Eye contact does 3 important things. Signals confidence, builds trust, regulates the pace of conversation. But too much is intimidating. Too little is evasive. Try this trick. Use the 3-second rule. Hold eye contact for 3 seconds, then glance away naturally. When addressing a group, paint the room with your gaze. Left, center, right, slowly and deliberately. Speak with your hands. Gesturing while speaking makes you more fluent, and your message more memorable. Steve Jobs used crisp, minimal hand movements to emphasize key points. Barack Obama used a precision pinch gesture to anchor ideas. Don't flail. Don't freeze. Let your hands amplify what your voice is saying. The grounded stance. Whether sitting or standing. Feet shoulder-width apart. Shoulders relaxed. Chin level. No swaying, bouncing, or pacing. This is what stage actors call stillness with purpose. It radiates calm. It holds attention. In chaos, stillness becomes a magnet. And here's the best part. Once you master body language, it actually changes your internal state. You'll feel more confident, because your body is already telling your brain, we've got this. Coming next, how to build instant connection, even with total strangers or skeptical crowds. The hidden power of connection. Speak so people feel you. People won't remember what you said. They'll remember how you made them feel. Maya Angelou. We often focus on what we say. Facts, logic, bullet points. But if you want to be truly persuasive, if you want people to listen, trust, and remember you, you need emotional intelligence. Connection over perfection. Studies show that the most influential communicators aren't the most polished. They're the most authentic. They speak with vulnerability, curiosity, empathy, and a human rhythm, pauses, laughter, reflection. This is what makes people lean in. It's what makes a TED Talk unforgettable, a dinner conversation moving, a leader inspiring. Let's break down how to do it. Mirror neurons, the brain's secret link. When someone shares a story with emotion, the listener's brain mirrors it. Your pain becomes their pain. Your joy becomes their joy. That's how connection is built, not with data, but with feeling. Which means, don't just share what happened. Share how it felt. Instead of, I failed at my first business. I remember sitting in the dark, staring at the ceiling, thinking I'd ruined everything I worked for. Boom. You've pulled people in. Now they're not just hearing a fact. They're inside your story. The art of story snippets. You don't need long anecdotes. Sometimes, a 10-second story changes everything. Use mini-stories to humanize complex ideas. Break tension with humor. Add credibility through personal experience. A well-timed story snippet is like adding color to a black and white argument. Reflect, don't impress. Want to win someone over fast? Instead of trying to sound smart, try this. Reflect what they said in your own words. Validate their emotions. That sounds frustrating. Ask real questions. What made you decide that? This creates what psychologists call empathic resonance. It's the secret behind amazing coaches, therapists, and negotiators. Because here's the truth. People don't open up when they feel impressed. They open up when they feel understood. Coming up next, how to win any argument without sounding like you're arguing. Win any argument without sounding like you're arguing. If you make someone feel wrong, they'll never let you be right. Whether it's a team debate, a family disagreement, or a heated boardroom standoff, how you handle conflict will define how people see you. But great communicators know the goal isn't to win the argument. It's to win the person. Let's break that down. The brain under attack. When people feel challenged, their brain goes into defense mode. This triggers the amygdala, the fight or flight center. Logic shuts down. Emotion takes over. That's why facts don't work in a heated moment. The other person literally can't hear them. So what do master communicators do? They disarm before they debate. 1. Disarm with agreement. Start by agreeing with something, even if it's small. Example, you're wrong about that. You bring up a good point, and I actually used to think the same way. This opens the door. Now you're not attacking them. You're joining them on the journey. It's called the yes and technique, borrowed from improv comedy. It reduces resistance while gently steering the conversation. 2. Avoid the gotcha trap. We love zingers, but in real conversations, cleverness often backfires. Why? Because the moment someone feels cornered, they stop listening and start fighting. Instead, aim for curiosity over domination. That's an interesting take. What convinced you of that? I'm curious. Have you ever looked at it from this angle? Now you're not a threat. You're a thought partner. 3. Argue like a detective. Don't try to prove. Try to explore. Instead of, that's wrong, here's the real data. There's actually a study that shows something surprising. Would you be open to it? This makes your facts feel like discoveries, not weapons. It turns the conversation from a battle into a co-investigation. 4. Reframe, don't refute. Reframing is the ninja move of smart communication. Take their idea and tilt it. Example, that solution sounds efficient, and if we add this step, we could make it even safer. Notice, you didn't say, you're wrong. You said, let's build on it. That preserves their ego, while pushing the idea forward. And the final move, walk away strong. Sometimes, people won't budge. That's okay. A true communicator knows when to pause the debate, with dignity. You can say, maybe we see it differently, and that's okay. I'm glad we talked this through. Respect earns influence. And when emotions cool, your words may hit harder than you think. You don't need to win every battle. Just build trust for the next one. Coming next, how to craft magnetic messages that people remember, repeat, and share. Make your words magnetic. How to craft messages people repeat. You know it worked when someone quotes you in a room you're not in. Some people talk and get forgotten. Others speak, and their words spread like wildfire. The difference? Sticky messaging. The ability to say something so clearly, so vividly, so emotionally, that it lives in people's minds long after you've stopped speaking. Let's break down the science of unforgettable communication. The 3 rules of magnetic messaging. Clarity. Say it simply. Say it sharp. Emotion. Make people feel, not just think. Contrast. Set your idea apart by showing the stakes. Let's dive in. 1. Clarity. Simplicity wins minds. The most quoted people in history, from Churchill to Steve Jobs, didn't speak in jargon. They spoke in sound bites. Instead of, our organization aims to pursue optimization in workflow efficiency paradigms. We're going to stop wasting time and start making things move. Simple, strong, visual. Tips. Shorten sentences. Use concrete words, burn, build, break, instead of abstract ones. If you wouldn't say it to a friend at dinner, don't say it in public. 2. Emotion. The secret ingredient. Facts tell. Feelings sell. Let's say you're giving a talk on climate change. You could say, sea levels are rising 3.3 millimeters per year. A 12-year-old girl in the Maldives may never see her hometown again because the ocean is swallowing it. Which one grabs your heart? To add emotion, tell a short human story. Use sensory language, chilling, blazing, silenced. Speak in images. It was like watching a ghost walk through a burning house. Your audience isn't just processing. They're feeling. 3. Contrast. Show the difference. Powerful ideas live in tension. Before versus after. Us versus them. What we thought versus what we found. Contrast gives shape to your message, like shadows around a spotlight. Example. Most people think success is about talent, but it turns out it's about grit. Now you've created conflict. And where there's conflict, people pay attention. Bonus. Repeat to stick. People don't remember what they hear once. They remember what they hear twice, 3 times, again and again. So repeat your key idea, but vary the phrasing. Speak less. Say more. Trim the fat. Keep the flavor. If they can't repeat it, it won't resonate. Different words. Same truth. Great communicators don't say more. They say the same thing, more memorably. Next up, how to turn your voice into a weapon of influence. The voice of influence. How to speak so people have to listen. Words are the tools, but your voice is the instrument that plays them. 2 people say the exact same sentence. One gets ignored. The other. Everyone turns, listens, and remembers. Why? Because how you say something changes everything. Your voice carries emotion, authority, confidence, charisma. And if you want to be a magnetic communicator, you need to train it. Let's break it down. 1. Master the vocal toolbox. Your voice has 4 key dials. Pitch, how high or low your voice sounds. Pace, how fast or slow you speak. Power, the volume and force behind your voice. Pause, the spaces between your words. Great communicators intentionally vary all 4. They don't speak in one long, flat tone. They move. Let's explore each one. Pitch, use the low end to lead. Lower pitch equals more authority. When leaders close a statement with a lower tone, it signals certainty. When it goes up, it sounds like a question or doubt. Compare. This is the right direction. Uncertain. This is the right direction. Confident. Train yourself to end key points with a subtle downward tone. This grounds your message in authority. Pace. Slow down to pull people in. When you're nervous, your speech speeds up. Fast pace equals less control. Slow pace equals command. Use strategic pacing. Speed up slightly during excitement. Slow way down when delivering key lines. And don't be afraid of silence. Which brings us to pause. Let your words breathe. A pause is a weapon. Use it to let an idea land. Build suspense. Reset attention. Example. And then everything changed. That's drama. That's gravity. That's how movies work, and so should your words. Power project without shouting. You don't need to be loud to be powerful. You need to be anchored. Tips: breathe from your diaphragm, not your chest. Stand or sit tall with an open chest. Project your voice like you're speaking through the room, not just at it. Even in a whisper, a confident voice can cut through the noise. Bonus: emphasize like a storyteller. Ever listen to Morgan Freeman or Viola Davis? They don't just say the lines, they bring meaning to each word. Train yourself to emphasize verbs for action. Hit key nouns for importance. Drop your voice on serious notes. Rise slightly with humor or wonder. You're not reading text. You're painting emotion with sound. The best voices aren't perfect. They're alive. Coming next, the final chapter, how to tie it all together and become unforgettable. Communication mastery. Build your signature voice and influence. People rise to power not just because of what they know, but because of how they communicate what they know. You've now got the tools, the techniques, the mindset. But mastery doesn't come from knowing alone. It comes from intentional repetition. So let's zoom out and build your communication system, step by step, to become someone who speaks with clarity, confidence, and impact everywhere you go. Step 1. Craft your communication identity. Ask yourself, what 3 words do I want people to associate with my speaking? E.g., calm, convincing, inspiring. What are my vocal strengths? E.g., humor, clarity, calm presence. What's one speaking habit I want to unlearn? This isn't fluff. This is identity shaping. The way you see yourself as a communicator will define how you show up. Speak from your desired identity, not your past insecurity. Step 2. Practice like a pro. The greats rehearse more than they perform. Build a 20-minute weekly routine. Record yourself talking about a topic you love. Watch it back. Mute the audio and just study your body language. Read aloud a powerful article or speech. Focus on vocal variety. Practice 1-minute stories in the mirror. Aim for emotional impact. You're not rehearsing to be perfect. You're rehearsing to become natural. Step 3. Build a message vault. Great communicators have signature lines. They collect analogies, phrases, quotes, personal stories, clear frameworks. Start your own message vault. When you speak on the fly, you won't need to think. You'll just pull from your vault. This is how pros stay sharp in interviews, meetings, and keynotes. Step 4. Adapt to the room. A master communicator reads the room like a musician reads the crowd. Before you speak, ask, who is my audience? Logic-driven, emotion-driven. What do they fear? What do they hope for? What do they already believe? Then adjust your tone, pace, examples, and even your structure. Speak the truth, but in a language the room can hear. Step 5. Stay grounded under pressure. Nerves never fully go away. That's good. It means you care. But here's how to channel them. Breathe deep before you speak. 4 seconds in, 6 out. Pause before your first word. Ground your feet and feel your spine. Speak to one person in the room at a time. Remind yourself, I'm not here to impress. I'm here to connect. That mindset shift changes everything. Your communication legacy. Every time you speak, you shape your reputation, your relationships, your leadership, your opportunities. So don't just speak to get through the moment. Speak to build your future. Speak like someone who knows their words can change a room. Because they can. You don't have to be born with charisma. You can build it. You don't need to be loud to be heard. You just need to be intentional. And you don't have to wait until you're ready. Start now. Start small. But start speaking like it matters. Because it does. If this journey sparked something in you, share it. Comment below. Which chapter hit you hardest? And what's one speaking skill you'll build next? And if you're serious about mastering this, hit subscribe. Because we've got more truth, more tools, and more transformation ahead.